evening, everyone. My name is Bracken Lambert, and tonight we're going to be discussing the impact of youth sports. I'm going to focus on four main points. We have recreational sports versus travel sports. We have parental involvement, particular sport burnout in the youth, and then we have that children need to play different sports throughout their young careers. Okay, so first, I want to hit on certain facts about recreational sports versus the travel sports. Fun versus competition. It's really easy to talk about recreational sports and club sports and travel sports. Basically, when you're a youth, your parents want you to be involved in sports in some way of capacity, most of the time. Me personally, I started off playing baseball. I loved playing recreational. I played both in the fall and the spring. That was what our county offered growing up. And then when I moved to a different town, we didn't have fall baseball. So I had to learn other sports. I ended up playing soccer and basketball, and that was a big influence on me because I got to play different sports, got to learn new and different skills, and it helped benefit me later in life. The fun versus competition part is one of the big questions that a lot of parents have throughout today's age, because when you incorporate recreational and fun, that's what a lot of people think. You want to have that fun aspect where everyone gets to play, everyone gets a trophy, and then you have the travel sports where it's more about the competition. You want to raise that level of competition for your children so they get better. When you're talking about the recreational sports, you have the parents who are coaching. You want to have your kids in there all the time, and it doesn't really matter if they win or lose. You just want them out there for the physical activity and for them to have fun. When you hit that travel sport, you have more certified coaches. You have coaches who have been doing this for many, many years, and you have much better competition where you travel throughout not only your state, but sometimes the entire country to play the best competition at that age group. So that's the big issue, is when you hit that competition, you want to focus completely on winning and growing your skill level. Going into parental involvement, there's a good and bad side of everything. It also ties in with the recreational and travel sports. The parental involvement in travel sports needs to be away. It does not need to be involved at all to a certain extent, besides of making sure that their kids are there and they are at least enjoying themselves. The good part of it is that they are there for support and for fans and make sure that everything is done correctly. The bad part of it is where the parents in the travel section or the travel sports want the travel sports to be treated like recreational leagues, where the child may or may not be getting enough playing time or may not be getting any playing time at all. The parental involvement is one of the biggest factors that hinders youth sports because of the constant nagging and always pushing their kids to be involved in some kind of sports. Sometimes sports isn't always the way to go for certain children. That goes into particular sport burnout. John Smoltz, Hall of Fame pitcher who pitched for 3 different major league teams throughout his 22-year career, always has said that children need to play different sports throughout their career. And this ties in these last 2 sections extremely well, because when you grow up and you play baseball from age 4, when they allow t-ball and coach pitch, all the way up through high school, and all of a sudden you're like, well, I go to college and I don't know what I want to do. Well, that's when the burnout comes. Some kids get that burnout a lot earlier. Other times it's a little dragged out if you only play spring ball. But if you're playing baseball day in, day out, 365 days a year, 52 weeks a year, it's gonna get tiring. Your shoulder, your arm, your legs need time to recuperate. Even though baseball is the longest sport seasonal-wise that goes technically from February into the middle of November, everything needs a break. The causes of youth sport burnout is that their parents are pushing them. This ties back into the parental involvement, pushing them straight into one sport. My son, my daughter is going to be a professional baseball player, be a professional soccer player, or a basketball player. Their child is going to get mentally and physically fatigued from always spending their time on the practice field or in the gym. It is going to tire them out, and they're not going to love that sport like they did back when they were 7 to 8 years old. And then finally, rounding into that child needs to play different sports, it helps develop them physically and mentally. It makes them learn different aspects of sport. Growing up playing baseball, I played so many seasons, I decided one year I wanted to play soccer. And it was such a different experience for me. Now, I had never done that much running at my young age. I was thrown off completely, and I wanted to go straight back to baseball. But when I moved out of state, where we did not have 2 different seasons to play baseball, I played football and I played basketball, and I learned these different skills that I don't think that I would have learned if I was playing baseball 24/7. I played basketball all the way through my middle school career, and that was when I had that notion, okay, I want to continue playing baseball. And even though now I don't play baseball at a competitive level, I'm still involved in some way, making sure that while here at Cumberland, I've helped out Coach Hunt throwing batting practice and being involved in some way. I'm involved with football, with their film, and then also back home, I am a American Legion baseball coach, and I absolutely love it. And this is also, even though I'm not an athlete anymore, I still am involved in athletics in some way because that was my passion. I've always been driven straight towards being in athletics some way. I've never had that personal burnout from any sport because I was able to play so many different sports. I've learned so many different skills that I was able to focus completely on what I wanted to do. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night.